Yeah, so from the first slide, you can see that my role is to link together between the scientists involved in this project and the explorers and also the operations side at where we work. The scientific collaboration is international. We have scientists from the UK and Canada and France. And also, whilst that's on the project itself, downstream analysis will be very important. A lot of the samples that will be acquired will be sent down south, that's to say, back to the laboratories of the host institutes. And we have other institutes involved in that as well. So it is an international collaboration. Have the next slide, please. The work devolves into two streams, as we've already explained, one of which is the explorers setting off on their expedition over some nearly 400 kilometres, indicated by the arrow there. And this is already, the explorers are already up in the Canadian Arctic, ready to start. And what we've set up for them is a very simple campaign to sample the ocean roughly every 3 days, and to do, I suppose one would describe the minimum sets of experiments to return the data that would be useful, but at the same time not to sort of overstress them. Part of what I've been involved in is some of the equipment testing. For example, last week I was up at Myra, which is a cold room up in Nuneaton, where we did some tests, and on the way I had to get sea salt in order to put together to recreate the ocean in a barrel, which was quite interesting. But these sorts of things we have to test out and make sure that equipment that would appear to be perfectly working in room temperature and normal conditions will work out in the Arctic. Can I have the next slide? The other side of the campaign is the ice base, as has been already described by Penn, which is working on Elef Ringnes Island, where we have a land camp, and we have the opportunity to get the scientists out, possibly even to, so this is the camp roughly here at Isaacson, possibly even out to point 5 here, where they could experience sampling depths of down to 500 metres. Where we will be in part determined by the logistics of the ice quality and how we get out towards that, but we can certainly offer them these different opportunities. So what do? Well, essentially the ocean acidification experiments devolve into the physical, chemical and biological aspects. So they will look at the physics of carbon dioxide going in and out from the atmosphere to the ocean, the chemistry of acidity and alkalinity, and the biology in terms of studying organisms and finding out what's there. To some extent is important to explore that. And then also to develop models where you can actually artificially acidify a small portion of the ocean, a small sample of water, and ascertain what happens using different quantities of, for example, carbon dioxide. And as I say, the downstream analysis that occurs is also very important. So this project is ongoing beyond the end of the expedition for the scientists, which is at the end of April, and there will be a lot of downstream analysis processing. The project itself for the scientists divides into roughly 3 equal portions according to their availability, and part of my role is just to integrate to make sure that people, for example, from Plymouth Marine starting off on the 11th of March, if they have techniques that they want to hand over to the third set of people, they will be able to give them prepping instructions on protocols and equipment in order that we maximize our data return over the period. So I think that describes my role, and I think it would be very useful now, obviously, to speak to somebody who's actually going up there, which is Helen Findlay from Plymouth Marine Laboratory.